There's a kind of exhaustion nobody ever gave a name, and yet millions of people live it every single night. It's that moment when you're lying in bed at 2 a.m., your body wrung out and heavy, but your mind is sprinting flat out. You're right on the edge of sleep, and then, boom, a conversation from 6 hours ago comes roaring back. You replay it. Again. You pick apart every word, every tone, and then you start tearing into yourself. I should have said this instead. And before you catch yourself, you've rehearsed a dozen versions of things that will almost certainly never happen. Here's the cruel part. You know you're overthinking. You know it doesn't make sense, but you can't find the off switch. It's like your brain has 50 tabs open at once, every one of them blasting sound at full volume. People hand you the same tired line, "Just stop thinking about it, relax." But a mind with no off switch is both proof that you're intelligent and a pretty brutal sentence to serve. Overthinkers tend to be the sharpest, most sensitive, most emotionally tuned-in people out there. So if this is a gift, why does it drain you down to nothing? The line between deep insight and quietly destroying yourself is razor thin. Today we're breaking down what's actually happening inside an overthinking brain and how you grab back the wheel of your own mind. Welcome back. I'm Apex. Let's get into it. To solve a problem, you first have to call it by its real name. In psychology, this isn't just overthinking. There's a sharper term, maladaptive rumination. It's when your mind gets stuck chewing the same loops over and over, especially when you're facing uncertainty, something in the past you can't change, or a tangled social situation. People close to you might say, "You're too sensitive, that's why you worry so much." But science doesn't back that lazy judgment. Research out of Yale and the University of Michigan keeps showing the opposite. You don't ruminate because you're weak. You do it because your brain has an unusually powerful gift for spotting patterns. Your nervous system is like a high-end radar, always scanning, always hunting for the hidden meaning under every situation. The problem was never a lack of intelligence. The problem is that this radar never gets the signal that says, "All clear, you can power down now." From a neuroscience angle, the key player is the prefrontal cortex. Picture it as the CEO in charge of planning and logic. Normally, this CEO taps the brakes and calms the panic signals coming from the amygdala. But locked in an overthinking loop, the CEO gets swamped and loses the room, swept up in the endless chatter of a background system called the default mode network. Put those together, and you get a mind that's basically always online, constantly reviewing what already happened while drafting scripts for conversations that haven't happened yet. Your brain is a Ferrari with a roaring engine, but your foot is pinned to the gas while the car sits in neutral. The engine screams, the wheels spin, the fuel burns, and you don't move an inch. That's where the exhaustion comes from. But why would an intelligent brain put itself through something this draining? Here's the part that's fascinating and a little heartbreaking. This pattern usually doesn't appear out of nowhere in adulthood. For a huge number of overthinkers, the habit took root back in childhood. So look back. Did you grow up somewhere the outcome always felt unpredictable? When a kid grows up in a house where the adult's moods flip with no warning, or the smallest slip leads to harsh criticism, that developing brain learns a logical survival move. Anticipate everything. If you could predict your parents' anger from the sound of their footsteps, catch every mistake before you got scolded, read every disapproving look before it landed, then maybe you could keep yourself safe. Seen that way, your overthinking isn't a character flaw, it's an adaptation. It's what a deeply sensitive nervous system does when it's been trained for years to scan for danger. Your brain doesn't hate you, it's trying to protect you, just a little too hard. Now, not all overthinking wears the same outfit. There are two completely different states, and knowing which one you're in is the first key out of the maze. The first is reflection. Your mind turns inward to understand yourself, to work through hard emotions, to reshape how you see the world. You fight with your partner, then ask, why did I react that hard? What old wound did that hit? Kept in balance, this is a superpower. It's the source of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, empathy. It's how you grow. The second is brooding. This is the quiet killer. Unlike reflection, which moves toward a solution, brooding is passive. You get stuck inside the problem, drowning in regret and questions with no answers. You replay the argument 100 times, not to learn, but to relive the sting, or to punish yourself for not landing a better comeback. This is where overthinking sends you the bill. It charges you in sleep. It charges you in analysis paralysis, where you overanalyze every risk until you freeze and can't decide anything. It charges you in social anxiety, forever scared of saying the wrong thing. And here's the sneakiest trap. You drift between the two without noticing. A healthy moment of reflection quietly slides downhill into brooding before you clock it. Why? Because thinking feels like doing something. Your neurons fire nonstop, and your mind tricks you into believing it's cracking a hard problem, when really, it's running on a treadmill, burning energy and moving nowhere. Here's a fact that might chill you. Why can't you just force yourself to stop? It's not because that advice is wrong, it's because it's impossible. Your brain is being driven by dopamine, the reward chemical, and it releases little hits of dopamine during the act of solving a problem, even a made-up one. Every scenario you run, every argument you build to win against your boss in your imagination, your brain rewards itself. As long as you're thinking, it feels good. That turns overthinking into an addiction loop, not so different from scrolling your phone. Willpower alone is hopeless. You can't outmuscle a system chemically wired to keep the habit alive. So how do we break out? Forcing an overthinker to stop is like telling someone who's carsick to just stop feeling nauseous. The best therapists don't try to shut the thoughts off. The goal is to change your relationship with them. 2 techniques, drawn from acceptance and commitment therapy and somatic work. 1. Cognitive defusion. Picture your anxious thoughts as VR goggles pressed to your eyes. While you wear them, you believe the disaster playing inside is real. Defusion is pulling those goggles off and realizing, oh, this is just a video, not my life. In practice, adjust your inner language. Instead of drowning in, I'm a total failure, step back and say, I'm having the thought that I'm a failure. Feel the difference? That instantly separates you from the toxic stream. You're no longer dragged under the current. You've stepped onto the bank, watching the water flow past. It shifts activity away from the amygdala and back toward the prefrontal cortex, the center of logic and awareness. 2. Update the safety signal for your nervous system. Overthinking runs old survival software that still assumes the world is full of danger. You can't reason it calm. You have to speak the language of the body. When your mind starts racing, cut the stream with real physical sensation. Try the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Find 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. Or go harder, splash ice-cold water on your face. Your default mode network can't do 2 things at once, so it has to pause the imaginary conversations. You're sending a biological message. The environment is different now. No predator is chasing us. You're grown, you can protect yourself, and it's finally safe enough to rest. Hold on to this. Overthinking is not a character flaw, not proof you're weak. At its deepest level, it's evidence of a mind with enormous processing power, one that learned to stay sharp in a world that once felt unpredictable. It's proof of how hard you fought to survive. Your real challenge isn't to wipe out those thoughts, or to dull the sensitivity that comes so naturally to you. It's to become a patient, caring guide for your own brain. To teach that anxious mind that the days of constant danger are over, and that peace is something you genuinely deserve. And maybe the most human part is this. All of us carry scars shaped by things we never chose. We didn't choose to be hurt. We didn't choose to feel anxious. Understanding how your brain works isn't a magic wand, but it strips away the power those dark thoughts hold over you. Once you can name the thing, it stops being your master. Sometimes, simply understanding yourself is where healing begins. So, where do you find yourself most of the time? More in constructive reflection or pulled into brooding? Ready to try the diffusion technique? Share your story in the comments. I'm here to read them. If today's video helped you set down even a small piece of that invisible weight, hit like and share it with a friend you know is quietly fighting their own battle every night. Your small act of sharing might be the exact lifeline someone needs. I'm Apex. Subscribe and turn on notifications so we can keep exploring the darker, fascinating corners of psychology together. Thank you for staying to the very end. Live fully in the present, and goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next